There's a comfortability that people have commenting on that I think is really dangerous. And I think it's dangerous for all parties involved.
Ariana Grande might look like she floated straight out of a music video, but her real life has been anything but glossy. Behind that ponytail is a level of chaos that would make a Hollywood publicist break into a cold sweat. We're talking heartbreak, trauma, scandals, lies the internet swore were true, and pressure that would have folded most people by the time the frontal lobe fully developed.
You guys together?
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be her until like 2 days before, and I found out, and I almost passed out. I had no idea what to do.
So grab a seat, because we're peeling back the glitter to talk about the real story Ariana never got to control. And the most surprising part, Ariana's darkest moments didn't begin in adulthood. They began right as her career took off. The moment everything changed. Before the Grammys and the stadium tours, before she was a household name, Ariana was a child actor who had no idea how drastically her life was about to shift. That shift came the moment Nickelodeon cast her as Cat Valentine, a bright-eyed, high-pitched, bubbly character that would change the trajectory of her entire life. She stepped onto the set of Victorious at just 14, entering a high-pressure, now infamous Nickelodeon environment under Dan Schneider, where teenagers became global icons overnight. Ariana has reflected on that time with a mix of gratitude and disbelief. She often talks about how she and her co-star Elizabeth Gillies walked onto set excited and wide-eyed, thrilled to be part of something new. But behind that teenage excitement was a schedule that kept her working constantly, rehearsing, filming, and promoting, all while still trying to figure out who she was. Fame arrived quickly and intensely, and it didn't slow down when Victorious ended. Instead, it followed her into Sam and Cat, the spin-off that catapulted her into even bigger global recognition. Ariana's time at Nickelodeon wasn't all glitter and giggles. Behind the sitcom laugh tracks, the pace was wild. She talked about how everything moved so fast. The jokes were pushed for shock value and nobody was thinking long-term, like, should a bunch of teenagers really be filming half this stuff? Looking back, even she cringes at some of those scenes. And honestly, the work environment didn't exactly prioritize the mental health of kids who were basically carrying an entire network. She's even said young actors should have had on-set therapists, which tells you everything. And don't forget the hair saga. To play Cat Valentine, she bleached and dyed her hair red every other week for 4 years. 4 years. Her hair didn't just suffer, it tapped out completely. Breakage, thinning, the whole tragic story. The damage got so bad, she had to hide it under wigs and extensions, which eventually morphed into the iconic ponytail the whole world knows now. So that trademark look? It started as a cover-up, not a branding brainstorm. Then there was the cat problem. The character went viral, became a global meme, and basically followed Ariana everywhere she went. Cute for the fans, sure, but not so cute when the world starts acting like that's your permanent personality. She's admitted she worried she'd be Cat forever, and the industry didn't help either. Anytime she tried to be taken seriously, people would hit her with that soft baby voice in interviews like she was still in Sikowitz's acting class. And when she pivoted to music, plenty of folks rolled their eyes, another former child star trying to sing. But she bulldozed right through that doubt, reinvented herself, and made the whole world eat their words. But what none of us could see coming then was that the pressure of early fame would be nothing compared to the devastation waiting for her just a few years later. The night that shattered her world, Manchester. The night of May 22nd, 2017 started out like pure pop concert bliss. Manchester Arena was packed with glitter, eyeliner, and teenagers who had been waiting all week to scream their lungs out at Ariana Grande. The place was buzzing. Parents were taking pictures, kids were showing off merch, and everyone was riding that post-concert high as the final song wrapped. It was supposed to be one of those memories you cherish, not one you try to forget. Then everything flipped in one horrifying moment at 22:31. A bomber detonated an explosive in the foyer right as people were heading out. 22 lives were lost, some of them heartbreakingly young, and hundreds more were injured. The sound of cheering turned into panic in seconds. What should have been a warm, happy night became the kind of scene no one ever imagines when they buy a concert ticket. And Ariana, who had just been backstage minutes earlier, was left traumatized in a way she couldn't fully express. In the days that followed, reports described her as completely shaken, inconsolable, and overwhelmed by a grief she didn't know how to process. Even though she wasn't responsible for what happened, Ariana blamed herself. Survivors said she kept repeating that she wished she could take the pain away. She canceled the remainder of the tour and disappeared from the public eye, retreating into silence while trying to process the unimaginable. But 2 weeks later, Ariana showed extraordinary strength by returning to Manchester for a benefit concert. Standing on that stage, in the same city where her fans had been hurt, was one of the most emotional and courageous moments of her career. She performed through tears, honoring the victims and trying to bring healing to a community still in mourning. The energy was raw and emotional, especially when Ariana and Chris Martin performed "Don't Look Back in Anger," a song people had already been singing at memorials. The world tuned in, donated, cried, and stood with the victims. It turned into this massive, defiant moment of love after unthinkable loss. That night became a defining part of her journey, not because of the music, but because of the compassion and bravery she showed at a time when she was still deeply broken. And as she tried to heal from Manchester, life delivered another painful blow, one that would leave scars she still carries. Love, loss, and a heartbreak. The world watched. After Manchester, Ariana slowly tried to find her footing again, returning to music and the public eye. But 2018 hit hard when she lost Mac Miller, someone she had loved deeply. Their connection wasn't just a headline romance. They first met on Twitter in 2012, collaborated on The Way in 2013, and stayed friends for years before dating publicly from 2016 to 2018. Their relationship was tender but complicated, especially with Mac battling addiction. Ariana was always supportive, openly showing care and love. But some fans misread that support, twisting it into accusations that she had enabled him. The grief was bad enough. The unfair blame made it worse. Losing Mac was a private heartbreak that suddenly became public fodder. She turned to her music to process the pain. Thank You Next pays direct tribute to him, reflecting on the lessons, growth, and love they shared. Later, Positions continued that emotional journey, transforming grief into art while honoring his influence on her life. Despite the criticism and harsh commentary from some fans, Ariana has emphasized that addiction is a disease and grief is a deeply personal journey. The backlash didn't stop her from sharing her truth or from growing through the experience, even while the world was watching. Then came a brief spark of happiness in her whirlwind engagement to Pete Davidson. For a moment, it looked like things were finally moving toward joy again. But the timing The public scrutiny and the emotional weight she was already carrying made the relationship impossible to sustain. When it ended, Ariana was left navigating heartbreak on multiple fronts. Still mourning Mac, still recovering from Manchester, and still under the relentless gaze of the public. Just when she needed compassion the most, the world didn't soften. Instead, the pressure intensified. You might wonder how she got so strong. It's because life started throwing shade at her long before fame ever did. The cruelty was relentless, pushing her to turn off her Instagram comments for months, simply to protect her mental health. Ariana rarely speaks publicly about Mac, but her music revealed everything she couldn't say out loud. Songs like Ghostin' became emotional windows into her grief, showing how deeply she was affected by the loss. That grief followed her into her whirlwind engagement with Pete Davidson. For a moment, it looked like she had found joy again, but the timing, the pressure, and the emotional weight she was already carrying, they struggled to keep things civil, and that tension filtered into Ariana's early development. She adored her father, but as she grew older, their relationship became strained. The distance grew so significant that they barely spoke for years. Ariana never made dramatic public statements about it, but the emotional impact of losing that closeness stayed with her. Even before Nickelodeon, Ariana was already navigating her own storms. Anxiety and panic attacks were part of her life from a young age, something she described as feeling like a panic attack that never ended. Early family struggles, including her parents' divorce when she was 8, made things worse, and later trauma like the Manchester bombing would only intensify those feelings. Ariana also developed obsessive-compulsive behaviors, from repetitive habits to extreme germophobia, sometimes leaving her hands cracked from constant sanitizer use. By 13, she had landed a role in the Broadway musical 13, her first real taste of professional performing. The stage taught her discipline, timing, and how to channel emotion into every note and scene. It was a formative period that laid the groundwork for her future as both an actress and singer. Her mom, Joan Grande, has been a constant anchor throughout. Joan didn't just support Ariana, she guided her through auditions, rehearsals, and the highs and lows of early stardom. That bond gave Ariana the confidence to keep going, even when the pressure felt crushing. Music was more than a hobby. It was an obsession. Ariana spent hours mimicking artists, memorizing lyrics, and experimenting with her voice. Those early vocal experiments and impressions helped her build a unique style and refine the powerful range that would later become her signature. Vocal coaches soon noticed her potential, training her in breath control, runs, and tone. By the time she walked onto the Victoria set as Cat Valentine, her voice was already a force to be reckoned with, strong enough to hold stadiums and studio recordings alike. Cat Valentine's quirky, high-pitched persona exploded into global memes, giving Ariana visibility but also typecasting her. Fans loved Cat, but Ariana found herself stuck in a character that didn't reflect who she truly was. Breaking free meant transitioning to music, redefining her image, and proving she was more than the red-haired, squeaky-voiced teen the internet had fallen in love with. Even amid the glamour of Nickelodeon, the pressures of fame were building. Ariana was performing, training her voice, and navigating a personal world already complicated by anxiety and family tension. The skills she had honed on Broadway and her vocal training became her survival tools, helping her manage the chaos. Yet nothing could have prepared her for the tragedy and heartbreak that awaited in the years to come. All that early chaos was nothing compared to the next round. Trauma and public judgment came at her like a tag team. Fame, PTSD, and the silent battles she carries. After Manchester, Ariana was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, when she later posted a brain scan showing the trauma markers. Many fans were shocked, but she wasn't exaggerating. The nightmares, the anxiety spikes, the sudden panic attacks, these had all become part of her daily life. And instead of easing up, the world intensified its scrutiny. Ariana became a target of non-stop body shaming and plastic surgery speculation. Every photo became a before and after. Every eyeliner wing, lighting shift, or makeup change became fuel for rumors. During the dangerous woman era, critics called her too sexy, sparking public debates over her provocative image. By the sweetener era, the narrative had flipped. Now she was too thin. Ariana later explained that her slimmer frame was largely a side effect of antidepressants, not dieting, and stressed that appearances don't always reflect health. When Positions came out, some fans and critics claimed she had too much filler, adding another layer to the constant scrutiny. Despite it all, Ariana remained self-aware and resilient. In a 2023 TikTok video, she asked people to be gentle with people's bodies, revealing that the so-called healthy body some praised during her thinnest moments had actually been a mentally and physically unhealthy time for her. Even her role in Wicked wasn't safe from criticism. Some critics and viewers suddenly said she was too skinny again, proving just how impossible the standards she faces really are. In interviews, Ariana has called the experience like being a specimen in a petri dish, constantly judged and never allowed a break from public opinion. Through all of this, Ariana has become a vocal advocate for body positivity and mental health. She challenges public perceptions and encourages compassion, showing that behind the headlines and harsh comments is someone who has fought to protect her own well-being while supporting others. But eventually, Ariana addressed the speculation directly during a Vanity Fair lie detector segment with her Wicked co-star, Cynthia Erivo. It was meant to be lighthearted, but Ariana used it as an opportunity to finally respond clearly. She denied having procedures like a nose job, fox eye lift, chin implant, breast augmentation, and facelift. And the lie detector confirmed she was telling the truth. When asked jokingly about a BBL, the machine flagged her response as deceptive. Ariana quickly clarified she had never considered such a procedure, and while she laughed it off, the moment went viral anyway. She explained she had previously used Botox and fillers, but stopped about 4 years ago, wanting to embrace her natural features again. She emphasized she supports anyone who chooses cosmetic work. She simply wanted to share her own experience honestly. Yet even with a lie detector test confirming most of her answers, people still argued in the comments. The truth wasn't enough for those who preferred speculation. And for Ariana, the judgment became another burden on top of everything else she was already carrying. During the sweetener era, people close to her recall how Ariana would smile through interviews and photo shoots, then break down backstage. She was functioning, but she wasn't okay. She later admitted she spent years in survival mode, trying to bring light to fans through her music while quietly battling depression, trauma, anxiety, chronic online harassment, and a world that expected her to be perfect. Like a phoenix, after years of being dragged online, judged for every curve, and surviving heartbreak that would crush most people, Ariana is finally calling the shots. The ponytail's still there, the voice still slays, but now, the Queen of Pop is showing us what happens when you take back your life, your art, and your peace. Ariana Grande's REM, Beauty, has become a major success, proving she's not just a music powerhouse, but also a savvy entrepreneur. From the start, the brand emphasized inclusivity and self-expression, earning praise for its quality, range of shades, and Ariana's hands-on role in developing products. It's a reflection of her vision for beauty that celebrates individuality, not just trends. Her marriage to Dalton Gomez was another chapter that unfolded quietly. They married in May 2021 in a private ceremony, but after around 2 years together, they separated in February 2023 and finalized their divorce by March 2024. Reports describe a peaceful, respectful split, almost textbook, gentle and patient uncoupling, which let Ariana move forward without any public drama. More recently, Ariana has returned to acting with her role in the Broadway musical Wicked. This marks a new stage in her career, one that reflects maturity, artistic control, and a refined focus. She's intentionally balancing her high-profile work with mental and emotional well-being, prioritizing healthier boundaries than in the past. This phase also highlights her evolution in sound, style, and persona. Ariana has talked about embracing natural changes in her voice after years of training and growth, while her aesthetic choices now reflect confidence and vision, rather than reacting to outside pressures. She curates her social media presence carefully, chooses interviews wisely, and maintains a low profile, all strategies to protect her creative energy and mental health. Despite everything, Manchester, losing Mac, public heartbreak, body shaming, plastic surgery rumors, and mental health struggles, Ariana kept creating. She kept showing up and fighting to hold on to her joy. Ariana Grande's story is far more complex than the glossy pop star image most people see. At just 32, she has lived through trauma, loss, and pressure that would break many people. But through every tragedy, every public challenge, and every personal setback, she continues to rise. Her journey isn't just a story of fame. It's a story of resilience, vulnerability, and a constant search for light in the darkest moments. If you found this deep dive meaningful, make sure to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories just like this. Your support helps us bring you more powerful and inspiring deep dives every week.